She said we're breaking up, but you still have to take care of me like before. I replied, sure. That night she texted me, I'm so hungry. I really want pizza. Can you bring some over? I answered, okay, wait 30 minutes. Half an hour later, when the pizza arrived, she started calling me nonstop. It started with a FaceTime call. Chloe looked straight at me and said, Mark, this isn't working. I think we need to see other people. I didn't freak out or try to talk her out of it. I just said, yeah, I know. It's okay. She froze for a second. I could tell that wasn't the reaction she was expecting. Then she added, but we can still be friends, right? You'll still be there for me. You're the only one who really gets me. I smiled, a little. Sure, Chloe, whatever you need. She smiled back like everything was fine, then hung up. I just sat there for a minute staring at the blank screen. I thought I'd feel heartbroken or angry, but honestly, I felt free. I'd seen this coming for a while. The calls getting shorter, the excuses piling up, the way she talked to me only when she needed something. So no, it didn't hurt. If anything, it felt like I'd finally gotten my life back. But I also knew one thing. Chloe wasn't done with me yet. Looking back, I probably should have seen it coming way earlier. Chloe and I had been together for almost 2 years, and honestly, it was never balanced. I was the guy who always said, yeah, sure, to everything. Need a ride to a party at midnight? I'd be there. Forgot your charger? I'd drive across town to bring it. Craving sushi at 11 p.m.? I'd order it and deliver it myself like a personal DoorDash driver. She used to call me her rock, but what she really meant was the guy who does everything for me and never complains. At first, I thought that's what love looked like. Being there no matter what, putting her needs before mine. I thought she appreciated it. Turns out she just expected it. Chloe was complicated. She could be super sweet when she wanted to be. She'd send me long texts about how lucky she was to have me, how I understood her better than anyone. But then she'd go 2 or 3 days without replying to a single message. She'd love bomb me, act like I was the center of her world, and then suddenly disappear. And stupid me, I kept waiting for the sweet version of her to come back. I didn't even realize how much it drained me until one night we were at dinner, and she spent the entire meal texting someone else. I just sat there eating in silence, pretending it didn't bother me. That was kind of the story of our relationship, me pretending things didn't bother me. The real turning point came about a month before the breakup. She started hanging out with this new group of friends, mostly coworkers from her marketing job. And I noticed she was dressing up more, posting more selfies, and suddenly I was getting fewer invites to hang out. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she'd roll her eyes and say, "Don't be so insecure. Mark, you're overthinking." That's when it clicked for me. I wasn't her boyfriend anymore. I was just the safety net, the guy she'd call when the fun was over, when she was bored, or when she needed emotional support after some random party. So when that FaceTime call happened, it wasn't a shock. It was more like confirmation. The weird part is I didn't even feel angry. I just realized that I'd been giving everything to someone who treated my effort like background noise. After the call, I remembered just sitting there on my couch, phone still in my hand. I scrolled through our old messages, hundreds of I miss you texts from her, followed by weeks of silence. It was like reading a script of manipulation. That night, I decided I wasn't going to be that guy anymore. No more yes to everything. No being the backup plan. Still, I knew Chloe too well. She wasn't the type to disappear quietly. She liked control, and losing that control would bother her more than losing me. So, yeah, I was ready. I didn't know how or when she'd test me, but I knew it was coming, and of course, it didn't take long. That same night, not even 12 hours after the breakup call, I got a text from Chloe. It popped up on my screen at 10:37 p.m. Hey, I'm starving. I've been craving that truffle pizza from Carbone so bad. Can you please bring me one? You know how I get when I'm hungry. I just stared at it for a second and laughed out loud. I knew this was coming, her test. She wanted to see if I'd still jump. Whenever she snapped her fingers, old me would have grabbed my keys right away, but that version of me didn't exist anymore, so I replied, no problem. I'll have it there in 30. I could almost imagine her smiling at her phone, thinking she still had me wrapped around her finger, except this time I had a different plan. I opened Uber Eats, ordered exactly what she wanted, the truffle pizza, a San Pellegrino, and tiramisu for dessert. Then, in the special instructions box, I wrote, please charge the recipient directly. She will pay. Do not leave food without payment. Then I hit confirm. About half an hour later, my phone lit up, not from her text, but from Uber Eats. Order delivered. 5 minutes after that, Chloe called once, twice, 3 times. Then the messages started coming in. Mark, what the hell? The driver said I had to pay? Are you serious right now? I thought you said you'd bring it. I didn't reply. I just sat there on my couch sipping a beer and watching the notifications pile up. She kept calling 10 times, maybe more. I didn't answer a single one. I wasn't doing it to be cruel. I just wanted to send a message, and a simple one. You don't get to keep the benefits of me after you break up with me. A couple of hours later, I finally texted back, hey, did you get your pizza? No response. Then, 5 minutes later, you're unbelievable. I didn't even bother replying to that. Honestly, it felt weirdly satisfying. Not because I was trying to get revenge, but because I'd finally drawn a line. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was just done playing her little emotional games. The next day, my friend Aaron came over, and I told him what happened. He laughed so hard he nearly spilled his coffee. Dude, that's the most polite revenge I've ever heard. You literally gave her what she wanted, just with adult rules. Exactly, I said. She wanted pizza. She got pizza. She just had to pay for it herself. We both cracked up, but deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Chloe wasn't the kind of person to take humiliation lightly, especially not when it came from someone she thought she had control over. Sure enough, later that evening, I got another text from her. Call me. We need to talk. I didn't. Instead, I muted her notifications and went about my day. I wasn't sure what she'd say next, but part of me already knew. She tried to guilt trip me, twist the story, make me feel like I'd done something wrong. And honestly, I was kind of curious to hear what that would sound like, because for the first time, I wasn't scared of what she'd say. I had my piece back, and then she hated that. The next evening, my phone started lighting up again. Chloe calling. At first, I ignored it, but after the 5th call in a row, I picked up. The second I said hello, she exploded. What the hell, Mark? A $75 pizza, and you sent the delivery guy to me? He said I had to pay for it. I was standing there in my robe, completely embarrassed. I kept quiet. She wasn't calling for a conversation. She was calling to perform. I thought we were friends. You literally said you'd be there for me. She continued. I took a slow breath. And I was Chloe. You said you were hungry. I ordered you the exact pizza you wanted and made sure it showed up at your door. That's what friends do, right? Help each other out. Friends. Don't send invoices with food. She yelled. Right, I said calmly. Friends also. Don't treat other people like personal assistants after dumping them. There was a pause. I could almost hear the gears turning in her head. You're unbelievable, she finally said, her voice shaking, half angry, half embarrassed. No, Chloe, I'm just not the guy you can call at midnight for free favors anymore. She didn't respond right away. Instead, she tried to change tactics. Soft voice. Fake vulnerability. I just thought we were still close. She said, you always said you'd never stop caring about me. I didn't stop caring. I said, I just stopped doing things that make me feel like crap. Then she hit me with, you've changed. Yeah, I said. That was the point. She was quiet. Again. Then out of nowhere she said, you know. What? I was having a rough night, and all I needed was some comfort. You used to understand that. I guess I was wrong about you. That line made me laugh a little. Not out loud, but the kind of laugh you do when something just confirms everything you already knew. I said, you weren't wrong. Chloe, you just assumed I'd never learn. Then she hung up. I figured that was the end of it, but about 20 minutes later, she texted me again. You embarrassed me in front of the delivery guy. He knows me. He delivers. Here all the time. Then another one. I had to borrow cash from my roommate because my card wasn't nearby. Do you have any idea how that made me look? I didn't reply. 5 minutes later, another message. I can't believe you're enjoying this. That one I did answer. I'm not. I'm done pretending we're still together when we're not. You wanted space, remember? This is what space looks like. She left me on read after that, but an hour later she called again, this time crying. I just don't get it, she said. I used we'd always have each other's backs. Yeah, I said quietly. And we did. Until one of us stopped being honest about what that meant. Are you saying this is my fault? I'm saying, I said slowly, you can't end a relationship and still expect the same treatment you had inside. That's not friendship, Chloe. That's convenience. She didn't say anything for a few seconds, then hung up again. That was the last time I heard her voice, but honestly, that whole conversation wasn't about pizza. It was about control. She wasn't mad about the $75. She was mad that for once I made the decision and she couldn't twist it, and that realization, that's when I knew the Breakup didn't happen when she said, "We should see other people." It happened the moment I stopped being her backup plan. After that last call, I didn't hear from Chloe for about a week. No texts, no late night "I miss you" messages, nothing. Honestly, I expected at least some kind of guilt trip or emotional bait, but it was just silence. Then one afternoon, my buddy Aaron sent me a screenshot from Instagram. Chloe had posted a photo of a half-eaten pizza box with a caption that said, "Some people change for the worse." He texted, "Bro, this about you?" I just replied, "Who else?" and laughed. A few months ago, that post would have ruined my day. I would have started doubting myself. Maybe even messaged her to defend what I did, but this time, I just rolled my eyes, blocked her account, and went back to work. I didn't even feel angry, I just done. That night, I finally cleaned out the last bits of her stuff from my apartment. A hairbrush, a hoodie she always wore, a half-empty bottle of her expensive perfume she forgot to take. I put everything in a small box and left it at the front desk of her building, with a note that simply said, "Take care, Chloe." No sarcasm, no bitterness, just closure. After that, I went home, sat on my balcony, opened a beer, and just breathed. It felt weirdly peaceful, like the noise in my head had finally stopped. For the first time in 2 years, I didn't feel like I was waiting for a text or worrying about what mood she'd be in, or trying to earn someone's attention. I just existed. Aaron called later that night and asked, "So, how's the single life treating you?" I said, "Honestly, quiet. But it's the good kind of quiet." We talked for a while about how much energy I'd wasted trying to fix something that was never broken. It was just one-sided. And that's when it hit me. The moment I told Chloe, "Sure, whatever you need," on that FaceTime call, I wasn't agreeing to be her emotional crutch. I was giving her one last chance to realize what she'd lost. She didn't, and that's okay because it wasn't about her anymore. It was about me finally respecting my own limits. Before I went to bed that night, I caught myself smiling, not out of pride or spite, just peace. I whispered to myself almost jokingly, "Turns out the best way to be there for someone is to be there for yourself first." Then I turned off my phone, lay back, and for the first time in a long time, fell asleep without checking for her name on the screen.